We ain't found Sith.
Warning, the following podcast contains speculation, which may be confused with spoilers, although it may also contain spoilers. You have been warned.
Hello, and welcome to We Ain't Found Sith, issue 76. It's just me, your host. My name's Evan, and my co-hosts are somewhere. Producer Fungus won't be joining us tonight, and Pedro was supposed to be on, and I'm hoping that he'll be joining us in the next couple of minutes. I don't know what's going on with him, but for now, good evening, folks. Um, Well, I guess since Pedro's not here, just gonna jump into the quick news that came out this week. And the big news, the biggest thing that I think popped up was that Warner Brothers has announced that Wonder Woman 84 will be debuting on HBO Max. It will be also debuting in theaters at the same time, but it will be debuting on HBO Max. So all of you who are HBO Max subscribers, you will be able to get that without having to pay anything extra. They're not doing the Disney Plus model that Disney did with Mulan. They're just gonna go straight right out the gate and just drop it into everybody's houses at no additional cost. So that is awesome news. Um, it's a little sad, honestly. I love watching movies like this in theaters. This is what theaters were made for, and the fact that I'll be watching it at home on my TV is awesome because I get to do whatever I want and pause it and go take a bathroom break, go get some food in the middle of it. It's just not something that was what are we talking? What are we gonna do? It's the big thing that's going around, and hopefully we'll have a vaccine early next year and we'll be able to get back to the movie theaters. Um, Shout out to my bros over at Lemon City. You need HBO Max. We'll talk after the show. We'll see what we can do. All right. We'll talk to Uncle Nefarious and we'll see if Uncle Nefarious has an answer for you. Another bit of news that dropped is Wonder Woman's coming to HBO Max, but Dave Chappelle has caused Netflix to remove the Chappelle Show from Netflix. Dave vocal in that basically that CBS Viacom has been licensing his show without compensating him for it. They're streaming it. I think Chappelle Show was not only on Netflix. I think it was also on HBO Max, and it was also on the CBS All Access. It's still on, I believe, the other two. But Netflix, they've got a great working relationship with Dave. He's done his last few specials on there. And Netflix was like, you know what? We're not going to be those guys. We're going to go ahead. We're going to pull the show. Since it makes you upset, we're going to go ahead and we won't pursue that. So obviously, Netflix paid for the rights for that. So they were fully within their legal rights to do it. But I think in this case, in order to preserve that kind of relationship, they decided to go ahead and appeal to the artist's demands. Also in Netflix news, Netflix has pledged to spend $1 billion extra in their original content next year. And part of that is building a studio in New Mexico, said to become one of the largest production studios outside of California. So that's they're putting Netflix is spending the money, man, and they're producing quality content. So if just got to keep on supporting them if you like what they're doing. Man, I would have liked to have gotten Pedro's take on this, but since he's running late, uh, HBO has officially ordered a season 1 of the Last of Us series. So we got that to look forward to. I know Last of Us, a story that's near and dear to our hearts here on WAFs, and it's something that it's a really really good story, and we'll see what they do with it or not. And then finally, last bit of news that I had is after 30 years, the Undertaker has retired. Those of you who know me, you know that I'm a wrestling fan. You know that I've been watching wrestling probably a little bit longer than the Undertaker was wrestling. I still remember his debut. Uh, and man, I mean, talk about a long career, a story. I mean, and even though the last few years was really, a very light schedule, only doing the one match a year and stuff like that, it was always cool to see who the Undertaker was going to be wrestling at WrestleMania. So, well, house phone. Oh man, that's kind of embarrassing. Uh, just having the house phone ring in the middle of a broadcast like that. And I can't mute myself because there's nobody else to talk. So, kind of flying by the seat of our pants on this one. Um, Let me see. So, Undertaker, 30 years, a long storied career, a career that, quite honestly, was a lot longer than a lot of other wrestlers get. I know guys like Hogan and stuff like that really only wrestled for like 20 years, 20 something years. So at 30, and not only that, 30 years with the same company, with the same gimmick. And yeah, he kind of changed the gimmick around from time to time and stuff like that to suit what was going on around him. But man, that was just he's an icon. He will be missed. A name that will go down, in the annals of wrestling history with the likes of Andre the Giant and Randy Macho Man Savage is just a pure legend. Um, I mean, other than that, if anybody who's watching, if you got any news, anything that you guys want to talk about, again, we're vamping for time. We're trying to see if Pedro hops on. We're supposed to be talking Mandalorian episodes 3 and 4 today. Kind of catching up. We've kind of been doing this on a bi-weekly, but it's kind of hard to go back and forth when the person who's going to go live with you is not going live with you. I'll be honest, man. I think if he's not here by the 10-minute mark, I think we're just gonna have to, call it a night, and it'll be the shortest episode of We Ain't Found Sith ever. But I think so we get to episode 3, and episode 3, obviously, we bring in a familiar yet new face. Mando travels, and we get to meet Bo-Katan and 2 more members of what I would only assume are Hey, there he is.
Ah, boy.
There you are.
What up, bro?
Bro, I've been vamping for time. I covered all the news that I had to cover.
Oh, well, sorry.
Yeah, man.
There's some family troubles I had to deal with real quick.
Yeah.
But let me tell you something. I'm about to hijack this episode because I need to talk about this.
All right.
When I have to say it, when I have to say it on air. Everyone's going to hear it right now.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm saying that directly to you, bro. I'm sorry. You were right.
Sorry about what?
You were right. Rebels is a fucking amazing. Rebels is amazing, dude.
I told you.
Holy shit! I know you did, and I didn't believe you. The first 2 seasons were baby bullshit.
Yeah.
And then holy shit, does that turn around hard?
Not unlike Clone Wars, which there's quite a few episodes of Clone Wars that are baby bullshit with the droids and the stuff like that, and Jar Jar and all of that, and it's all very childish. But then the heart of the story, when it gets into it, it gets into it.
I feel like this guy makes these cartoons just to sell it to like Cartoon Network and these of course networks for like baby shit, and then he's like, all right, they're not watching us anymore. Okay, cool, and then he starts doing his own thing. Because holy shit.
I have a rule with every single TV show. And that rule is how good is season 2? Because I've been burned on too many series that are good in season 1, and then they get canceled. And then there are shows that their season 1 is whatever, it's mediocre, but then season 2 is like, okay, now we've been they took us in, they hired us back, we're going for real now.
Dude, but this one,
yeah,
holy fuck shits, bro. Dude, that fucking Vader, that's not the Jedi way, motherfucker. I'm not a Jedi. What's good? That shit was so good, bro. Holy fuck.
She walks the gray path.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god, that shit was so dope. Dude, everything about that show. I don't even know if I like it. I don't even know if I like Clone Wars better than anymore. Because before I was like, dude, Clone Wars takes a shit on this garbage baby bullshit. But now I'm like,
well, what I will always give Clone Wars credit for, Clone Wars changed the way I see the prequel trilogy.
Facts. I actually like them because of it.
Yeah, like the way Clone Wars goes in and fills in these gaps and stuff like that. Brilliant. I love it. The way that they did that is amazing. I now view episodes 2 and 3 in a completely different light.
Dude, oh my god, man! I like I told you, you told me to watch this shit back in like March when the
pandemic started.
When the pandemic was starting, he's like, hey, you have time, fucking, and you said that shit on there, so that shit's on record. You were like, just go ahead and watch this show, and I'm like, I'll give it a shot. And then maybe a month into it, I'm like, dude, I'm watching it, but this is hard to watch. It's so much baby bullshit. And you just said, just fucking push through because it's gonna get good. And I gave, dude, from March up until last Friday, I was stuck on season 1 and 2. I got to the last 2 episodes on Thursday, and then Friday till now I finished it.
I'm telling you, man,
that show was good.
Seasons 3 and 4,
so good. The last 2 episodes of season 2 were fucking mind blowing, dude. So good.
That's when they go to the Sith planet, right? And they
temple,
the temple.
That's
and then Vader shows up, and
that's where I got invested when Vader shows up, and Maul is trying to get, dude. Everything cool happens in those 2 episodes. Like fucking what's his name? God, I forgot. I'm too hyped. I can't remember his name.
Kanan.
Kanan goes blind. The guy fucking scars his eyes. He goes blind, and then fucking you start seeing the glimpse of Ezra. What's his name? Ezra starting to go into the dark side, where he's like able to manipulate the Sith holocron, and fucking, and then they're both calling them his Ezra their apprentice, and it's like this fucking tug of war, and it's going back and forth, and I'm like, oh shit. And then fucking Ahsoka comes in, and then you see Vader, and Vader's like, I'm gonna beat all you motherfuckers. And then Ahsoka's like, bitch. I know you, bitch. I know you.
Oh, well, I think isn't that when Ahsoka realizes that Vader is Anakin? Because like she reaches out with her feelings or something like that, and he feels familiar.
I didn't. I thought she already knew. I thought she already.
No,
knew.
I think it was that episode. I think is when she finds out. Like I think she thought Anakin was dead.
Oh, well, they didn't really portray that very good because I thought she already knew.
Yeah, I seem to remember that she's like, that like she's fighting him, and he calls her apprentice or something like that.
Yeah, but I thought, he does do that. But I thought that he did that as a way to like reach out, because he said apprentice, or I think he calls her Padawan, not apprentice. And she's been like trying to talk to him, like, I know you, Anakin. He was like trying to say that shit, and he kept saying that Anakin's dead, and this and that, and then he calls her Padawan. And then she's like, oh, shit, I reached out to him. And that was after she cut his mask, where you could see his face. And then she's like, oh, shit. And then all of a sudden he starts, like, choking her. And I was like, oh, that motherfucker don't give no shits. This shit's going crazy.
Yeah, dude. No, I mean, and then season 3 with basically the official start of the rebellion and Phoenix Squadron, and they're hiding out on that desert planet.
And Bendu.
And the Bendu.
Oh my god, man!
Which I assume, and I don't know if I'm right or wrong. I always think about back on in Clone Wars, the Mortis trilogy, where we meet the father and the son and the daughter,
Yeah,
and they represent like the light side and the dark side of the Force.
yeah.
To me, the Bendu is like he's another like entity like that. He's like, and he's the center. He's the there's no light side and there's no dark side. It's just the Force.
I just thought of him as the gray as the father.
Well, I think at a certain point he calls himself the Gray.
Well, yeah, he doesn't call himself anything. It's just the way he described it. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a great Jedi. That's Mace Windu right there, boys.
But the way that and then the Bendu, at the end of that season makes that like giant force storm that like freaking wipes out like the freaking fleet and shit.
Oh my god. Oh, and by the way, I gotta give props to that fucking villain. What is this? Tathrall? What? The blue guy with the red eyes. Holy shit! That guy was a bad motherfucker, bro. Thrawn, that was his name.
Thrawn.
What a bad motherfucker, bro.
So Thrawn, one of the reasons I love the character. Did you ever read any of the books back in like the 80s and 90s?
No, actually, I just found out about this right now because I just came from Corca, shout out, and the guy who works there, Juan, he was like, I was telling him like, dude, like what a badass villain. He's like, yeah, he was in the extended. He was the first villain in the extended universe.
Yeah, he was. So I think I don't know if it was the first books, but like the first major release of what used to be called the extended universe, which was is commonly referred to as the Timothy Zahn trilogy, which is I think The Last Command, Dark Force Rising, and I can't remember the name of the third book. He is the villain, right? Like we get introduced to this like post-war empire that's like 6 years after the Battle of Yavin, and they're essentially comprised of like local area warlords and stuff like that are still hanging on to power. And the main guy, the guy who's in charge of the fleet, is Grand Admiral Thrawn, who is of a race called the Chiss, who have blue skin and red eyes, and he is like a genius super intellect. And they even included the fact that like he gets to know cultures and gets to know how people will act based on like studying their artwork.
Yeah, oh my god, he was the biggest piece of shit. I love that villain, man.
Yeah, and then I love the fact that they included also his his henchman, whose name I'm blanking on at the moment.
Which one was it?
He's like the gray guy that like fights them multiple times. He's
like,
yeah,
they called him a baby Rancor. I don't know if that's accurate.
No, he's not a Rancor. He's another race of.
Well, they kept calling him that. He's like, he looks like a baby Rancor.
Yeah, but fuck
man. That guy. That guy was.
Obnoxious. Yeah, that guy was. He was hard to kill. He kept on surviving everything.
There was a couple of moments in that show where I was like, man, why don't you just do this and end this? Have you at the end of the show, I started noticing. Obviously, it's a cartoon show for fucking kids. I started noticing that the Jedis didn't kill anybody. All they would do is slice guns in half, so they couldn't shoot anymore. And they'll like push guys into the wall.
They're
except
they're Jedi. They're like the Batman of the Star Wars universe. They never kill.
But except for the very last episode, Ezra killed everybody. When he took over the ship, he killed everyone.
Yeah, because he had to. He had to do what he had to do. It's again, the Jedi don't kill unless they're left with no other choice.
Yeah,
and even then, you don't know if he killed everyone. All you know is that he used those space whales to jump the ships into hyperspace.
Oh no, I'm not even talking about that. When he was hijacking the ship, he was literally running through the hallway, slicing people in the stomach. Yeah. He wasn't chopping like guns or any. He just straight up killing everybody. Yeah. And then at the end, he killed like everybody in the control room, and then the octopus came in, and then he's like, and then Thrawn,
they're space whales with octopus behinds.
Those motherfuckers, and Thrawn, like the badass that he is, he's like, whatever happens to me happens to you too, and he goes, oh, I know. What? Yeah. What, dude? Ezra, come on, man.
I remember the space whales were this like throwaway episode from like season 2, I think.
Yep.
You know, so the fact that like, oh no, you thought that was BS and you'd never see that again. No, that's coming back to play. You know,
Ezra was like the Beastmaster Jedi because
right? They played it real big that his like special thing is his connection with animals.
Yeah, that was like his whole thing. He was constantly doing that, and then I thought that's what the fucking the lore wolves. What is that shit called? The
Loth wolves.
The Loth wolves. I thought that was another thing, but then you find out it's your boy. Oh,
yeah.
Oh my god, man.
Well, the Loth wolves are awesome because they were like mythical, like they always talked about it in like the early seasons, but nobody had ever actually seen one and stuff like that. So when they actually do show up, and these things are like dire wolves. These things are like
giants,
huge.
Fucking
you know, but the fact that they're force sensitive, you know, is awesome. Like I love the idea. Like I love like the force sensitive animals. Like Thrawn has an Issa Lamiri, which is also out of those books. Which is the Issa Lamiri is they created like a species that like they create like a bubble around them that like eliminates the force.
Oh wow!
And that's why like when they get around Thrawn, like they can't use the force because of the Issa Lamiri. That was something that they created in that trilogy. They go to a planet where like all the animals on the planet are force sensitive, so the Issa Lamiri have created this like defense, so that like they don't get eaten.
Oh, I didn't notice that they couldn't use the force on that guy.
Yeah, when he's in like his throne room or whatever in one of the episodes, but the Issa Lamiri is there like in the background, they can't use the force because of it.
I think you're mixing it up with the book. I don't remember a creature at all in his throne room. Thrawn, right? Thrawn?
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
blue
Thrawn.
guy? No, I don't remember any animal in there. Regardless, that makes me just want to read the extended universe because, dude, that character was such an utter badass. Holy fuck me, man. Jesus. And then Kanan. Dude, let me tell you something. It's a problem when movies, like, people will die in the movies and I have absolutely no fucking feelings at all about it. And then in a cartoon about fucking space wizards, like somebody dies and I'm like, dude, how are we gonna bring him back? When he goes back into that time traveling the dimension that the fucking father, when he goes into that shit. Yeah, those are just statues.
No, see, my babies. I wish you could help me fight those Jedi.
Those are actual alive.
I don't know if they're alive, but
no, that was just a statue. That was just a statue. Yeah. But I didn't see any living things in there. But dude, when he goes into that time traveling section where he's like, where he goes and saves Ahsoka, and then you see Kanan, I'm like, oh my god, save him and figure it out, bro. Save him and figure it out.
And then he pulls Ahsoka out and into the time stream, out of and into the thing.
So sick.
Which is, I think, it's weird because because Mandalorian is after the fall of the Empire, so that's probably how if it's not for that, we don't get Ahsoka in live action.
Exactly. And dude,
but the thing is with Kanan is Kanan's sacrifice. If Kanan's not there to stop the explosion, then they all die.
Oh, I know, but still, I wanted to save him. He was so cool. He was the coolest guy ever, and then they fucking.
But you know what? We never knew about this thing with the time stream. This is something that they invented for this show. I fucking love it. I think it's awesome.
Oh yeah, dude, it's so good.
At the same time, like I don't want it to be used as like this, we did this here. Let's just use the time stream.
Hold on. They can't use it again. They destroyed the portal.
Did you see the Lego Star Wars Christmas special?
No, I did not.
It plays into the Lego Star Wars Christmas special.
Oh, it does? Damn it. I thought, dude, they should just destroy it and just make the last thing he did was save Ahsoka.
She goes to a different temple.
Oh, and they all have one?
Apparently there are multiple temples that can access this thing. She goes to a different temple. It's weird because it looks like there's kyber crystals in the temple, but the kyber crystals already have color, which usually doesn't happen until a Jedi has actually selected a crystal. But the Lego Star Wars special was actually pretty fun. It pokes fun at the original holiday special too, but it involves time travel and it involves like all the Star Wars universe movies. So it's a pretty fun it was a pretty fun watch. It was like an hour and a half, and it was stupid because it's Lego, but it was it was enjoyable. But it plays into it. The whole time stream thing plays into it. She keeps opening portals and showing up in the past and stuff like that.
Well, I was hyped because they destroyed it, because the last thing he did was he left and then he broke that whole
because
wall.
he couldn't let the Emperor have access to it.
Exactly, so he destroyed it, and I'm like, oh, that's so sick. That way, like, that's how they use it for the episode, and then no one could ever touch that again. So you can't fuck up the timeline,
Yeah, that would be awesome. But and obviously Lego's not canon. Whatever happens in Lego is not really what's happening in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, it's just like a nod that exists.
Yeah. But the fact that other writers are aware of it, I'm sure it'll come up at some point.
Oh,
I don't think a serious writer is going to do anything with it.
Yeah, I hope.
But a hacky writer, I'm sure, will use it as just a way to get out of. You know how it is.
Yeah, I know exactly how it is, dude. More fucking shit that I loved about this show. Ready for this, bro? The whole fucking second season was about Maul trying to find the one guy.
Yeah.
And you don't know who it is up until he makes that connection with Ezra, and then he finds out where it is, and then they both go to the planet and they find out they're trying to find Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan just straight up tells them motherfucker, he's like, well, you were tricked. I have nothing to do with your quest. I don't even know why you're here. And he's like, yeah, but Maul's here. He's like, yeah, I know. This guy's chilling 100%. He's like, yeah, that bitch is not going to do anything to me. I'm good. Yeah. He's like, Ezra, go on with your way, bro. I'll deal with this dum dum. And then they go and they have that samurai standoff.
Yeah, and then he's like, why are you here? What brought you to this planet? Why would you be here unless you're guarding something?
Yeah.
He's
like, yeah, you're not the kind of person that would just hide and run and hide, and you're over here doing something, perhaps protecting someone. And then Obi-Wan's like, he makes a little face like, oh, he figured it out. And then they go in their fucking samurai stances, and then fucking Maul goes to do his little fucking swirly, tippy, flippy bullshit that they did in the prequels, and Obi-Wan just does a little shrink.
Yeah.
And cuts him right down the middle, and he's just like, ugh, he dies in his arms, and he's like, is he the one? Will he be the one that ends it all?
Yeah, will he bring balance?
Will he bring balance? Something like that. And he goes, yes. And then he just dies.
Yeah. Boy! And Obi-Wan's like cradling him and like,
yeah, so good, man.
It's
like his ultimate nemesis, the one thing that killed his fucking master. It's been hunting him through all the shows, and then he ends it in such a poetic way. It's so good. Oh my god.
And the fact that Obi-Wan's, he's been meditating. He's been attuning himself more with the Force, and Maul shows up and he's like, "Yep, you've been fighting and you've been doing this, you've been doing that, but I'm still a master swordsman."
So good. Oh my god, that was so hype. I thought I was like, oh man, fuck, Obi-Wan's gonna die, but then I remembered, I'm like, no, there's movies about him not being dead, so he's not gonna die. But then he goes.
Well, Obi-Wan can't die because episode 4 hasn't happened.
Exactly, and I was like, oh, well, this guy's gonna give him a good fight. But when he just stood his ground, I was like, oh, Maul doesn't know what's about to happen to him. This guy's about to get whooped.
Now, I haven't seen the episode in a while, so refresh my memory. Isn't there a certain moment in that episode when we hear Aunt Beru call out Luke's name?
Yeah. You hear like a bunch of like Force, dude. That last scene in the
no, I'm talking about
Skywalker. Hold on.
I'll get with Maul and Obi-Wan.
I'll get to that. Yeah. So like that last scene in the last movie. What's that fucking movie called? I forgot. The Skywalker Returns or some bullshit like that.
The Rise of Skywalker.
That one. That piece of shit. The coolest part of that fucking movie is when all the voices from the original voice lines, like, say, we're with you, they're all saying that same shit. That was straight up taken from fucking Rebels, because that is exactly what happens throughout that entire episode. You hear like segments of the future you know, from like the future movies, same lines, like it was the same audio taken from the movies, and you hear it in that show. So that was 100% stolen from it. And yes, when he's on Tatooine, you hear Luke talking to his mom or his aunt and his uncle, and you hear like when he gets closer, you hear his aunt calling for him, and you see in the distance where Luke, quote unquote, would be, you know.
Yeah. Just
Oh man. And Obi-Wan is just hanging out, just like, why are you here, bro?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here! You're stinking up my style. Get out of here! It was so good, man. Oh my god, that show is a masterpiece. Holy shit, everything.
Filoni,
and then the relationship that Kanan has with his wife when he dies, dude. I felt so fucking heartbroken, and I did not feel like that in any of the movies except for episode 2 when I was a kid. I felt that shit. Yeah. None of the other movies I felt that shit. This show made me feel that shit. When he dies, it was like, and like I rewatched that episode twice because he says a bunch of shit that just doesn't mean anything up until you finish that episode, and then you go back and you realize why he said it. Like, what's his name? Ezra, like he linked up with one. Oh no, they made the wings. Remember they made the wings? And he's like, yeah, there's a bunch of lure bats or whatever you call that shit flying around. We could sneak onto the thing over there. And he just makes a comment. He goes, "You're very observant. That's going to serve you in the future." And then, how's that turning back? The fucking lore wolves gives him a tablet with just fucking hand symbols, and he figures out that that's the hands of the father, the son, and the daughter. And I was like, dude, it's like a whole circle, bro. It's the whole show. These guys are masterful fucking script writers, bro. These guys think about everything.
It's Filoni, man.
It's Filoni, bro. God bless. I wasn't going to watch the final season of Clone Wars because I felt like it ended so perfectly with the Netflix finale. Dude, I'm going to watch it. Fucking Filoni, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with that motherfucker. He's going to do it. So I'm watching that now. But holy shit, I am hyped. And then, hold on, I'm not even fucking done because then there's a whole Mandalorian fucking time saga, the fucking whatever you call it. Mm. And now is the perfect segue into Mandalorian talk.
Well,
it ends.
So we can segue, right? So
hold on. So they ends the whole Mandalorian part of Rebels ends with Bo-Katan, the motherfucking boss, getting the fucking dark saber.
Yeah.
And guess what? In Mando, she don't have that shit no more. But we just saw her
for it. That's what we find out in episode 3.
That's it. So we're like, oh shit, Bo. Dude, talk about. But by the way, I saw that episode before I finished Rebels, and I was still hyped because she was the queen of Mandalore, and that's all I knew about her. And then I saw Rebels, and I'm like, she's a badass.
The sister of the Duchess Satine.
Right, but then the Duchess dies because Maul, and then she becomes the queen or whatever, the Duchess of Mandalore, and then in Rebels she says she gave up the throne because she's not her sister. So now it's like it all ties together. I'm like, oh my god! And then she
gave up the throne, and who was it? I forget who was it that took over.
No, it disbanded.
But he was in it. But he was basically working with the Imperials.
No. They disbanded. The whole thing disbanded. It all went into clans. That's what happens in Rebels. So you have
But there's a specific clan that's in charge, who they wear like the white armor with the red paint because they're they're in league with the Empire because
they have stormtrooper armor. They have like stormtrooper looking armor.
Yeah. And it's all just because the Empire is letting them be in power and stuff like that.
Exactly. And then they take that shit back hardcore. Oh my god, that show is so good. Mm-hmm. It's so good. And Sabine finally gets her jetpack, and that's fucking that
Kanan has to train her in like how to use the
dark saber. And then it's so poetic because Ezra he gives her his saber to go save his friends, to go into a Thrall's battleship or whatever, and he doesn't have his lightsaber with him. And he goes over there, and then guess who uses it to protect his retreat? Sabine with the lightsaber. It's everything just well round. They write it so well. It's so nice. Oh my god, it's so good. So now I'm hyped even more for Mando, because what happens in the end of Rebels? Sabine and fucking Ahsoka leave to look for Ezra, and now we're going to see Ahsoka. What is she up to? This is 20 years in the future, baby. What are they up to?
Well, no, because the end of Rebels is at the end of the Civil War.
Yeah, and wasn't that
So
20
this
years
is like
from episode 4 to...
I think they said Mando's like 6 years.
Oh, it's only 6.
Yeah, Mando's like yeah, because remember we get the flashback of in the first episode of Cobb Vanth to like the fall of the Empire, and he was he had to escape out of town and all that, and it's only been a couple of years. Like it hasn't been like the thing with Rebels is the episode kind of ends, and then we get that like time jump to the end of the Galactic Civil War, which is a few years later. That's why like Kanan and Hera's baby's like a toddler already.
Yeah. Also goosebump moment because holy shit,
he's like a little human baby, but he's got green hair.
Yeah, and he likes flying.
Which I mean, you would think he'd be like human with like the two tentacles or something in the back of his head.
I guess the human,
whatever those are that that species has.
They're pretty much their hair, dude. Oh my god, but dude, that show is so goddamn good.
The Twi'leks.
The Twi'leks, yeah, they're French, and that's awesome that they made them French because the first person to play a Twi'lek was a French woman, so they just kept it. They're all French. They all have that French accent. Even what's her fucking name? I forgot the pilot's name. Hera. Even Hera, when she starts like speaking to her people, her accent comes out.
She goes home and she starts talking to her dad, and
it comes out heavy, bro. And I'm like, oh man, that's so cool, dude.
Yeah.
Fucking.
Well, like anybody who's ever lived in like a regional area, like they always talk about that. How you develop an accent wherever you're at, but then as soon as you go home and you start talking to the people from home, you go back into your old accent.
Yeah. That's what happened with her, because that shit came out heavy, bro. That was so good. But, everything about that shit, it was so good. But yeah, so now I'm really hyped for the next episode.
Well, yeah, and what a perfect segue to go from Rebels into episode 3 of Mandalorian.
Perfect.
Which I mean, Bo-Katan, played by Katie Sackhoff from Battlestar Galactica, but also who was the voice of Bo-Katan.
Was she really?
Clone Wars and Rebels.
Was she really?
She was.
Oh my! I just got goosebumps when you said that shit. That makes me so happy.
And then we get her two buddies, whose names I don't remember. I think they were maybe mentioned once, but I don't remember it. Played by WWE's Sasha Banks, and I don't know who the guy is. He's probably like a New Zealand or Australian actor. Like he has that look.
I don't know who those people were. Bro, that scene where those fucking squid people pushed Baby Yoda into the fucking pit.
Yeah.
And then Mando
again, every time we see that race, they're always bad guys.
They're all assholes. They're a bunch of dickheads. Fuck those guys. But
there's a reason why they're the natural enemy of the Mon Cala people.
Are they really?
Yeah. Remember like the Clone Wars cartoons and the Clone Wars the animated series? Like it was always like the war on the planet with the Mon Calamari being on the side of the Republic and that species being on the side of whoever the villain was, whether it be the Separatists or anyone else.
Oh yeah, you're right. I never connected that, but yeah, you're right.
Even in the first episode of Mandalorian, episode 1, one of them is in the bar and he's like he goes to start a fight with the Mandalorian. So it's
I know they're all pieces of shit, but I didn't know that they were like.
Apparently,
I could have sworn there was a Jedi once. I guess not, because there's another race that has like a metal thing on their mouth.
Yeah. What's his name? That he's one of the Jedi Masters on the console.
Yeah, I forget the name, but they look kind of like them, but they have that metal thing. So
that guy has like the metal breather thing over his face, and these guys are just like squid heads. And they got like the squid tentacles and stuff.
Yeah. Fuck those guys. But dude, when Bo came out, dude, and this is crazy. This is how much fucking Clone Wars meant to me. She came out, and immediately I'm like, fucking Night Owls.
As soon as you see the armor,
I was like, Night Owls. Oh my god. And then she came out, and then she said the one thing that I needed to hear, and she called him Night Watch because he was with the old ways. Because he wouldn't take off his helmet.
A child of the Watch.
Well, yes, but you know what she's talking about.
Well, I think she's talking about Death Watch.
Right. I'm sorry. I fucked up the name. Yeah, not Night Watch. Death Watch. So
you're
like
thinking about the Night's Watch from Game of Thrones.
oh, maybe that's what I fucking mixed it up with.
Yeah.
But no, what I meant was Death Watch because Death
Yeah.
Watch was the ones on the moon.
Well, Death Watch, when you go back and you see the episode where he gets saved as a child, the guys that save him are wearing Death Watch armor.
Oh, really? I never caught that. I never caught it.
Yeah, so remember, Death Watch dresses in that like black and blue scheme, and they're all in like the black and blue scheme.
I just remembered that flashback being like heavily filtered, and there was like a bunch of colors. So I if there was, I didn't notice it at all.
Yeah. And then there's another thing that was pointed out recently. Him and his family, like when his family puts him in that little like bunker or whatever, and like tells him to hide, like they're all dressed in like these red robes. Somebody pointed out that his family, that he might have been a member of like the religion of like the people who follow the wills, like the blind guy from Rogue One.
Okay.
That like they believe in like the wills and the force and all of that. But because he's taken as a child, obviously he is, he's been raised as a Mandalorian in the ways of the Mandalorian. But the way she explains it, like yeah, he's a child of the Watch. You've been raised by a sect of our people who believe in the old ways and stuff like that.
Yeah, that made me so happy that she acknowledged that from Clone Wars.
And because it explains, like people have been asking since the beginning of the show, what happened that the Mandalorians can't take their helmets off? And it's like, no, it's not that the Mandalorians, it's that this specific group. If the Mandalorians are Christians, these are like the Orthodox Christian, like guys.
They won't bend. They won't bend from their ways. It's that or nothing. Yeah, man. So sick, so fucking sick. And now, I'm so hyped now, bro. I'm so hyped. So that was that the last episode, or did we?
No, that was the third episode.
The last episode I don't even remember.
To Navarro.
Oh, that's right, dude. That episode was forgettable. Bo, I'm sorry, bro. Bo fucking stole the shit. I completely forgot about that episode. I'm just hyped about Bo.
And we get the freaking the Empire trying to run guns off the planet. The dude like kills himself rather than like give up the location of and the way that like just freaking Moff Gideon is just like, you know what to do. So he's like, all right, we gotta blow up the ship with no question, no nothing. It was pretty fucking badass, man.
Oh, hold on, another thing about Rebels. I'm just so hyped about it. Gotta remember it. Saw Gerrera. Saw Gerrera becomes such like I played the games, and he's a piece of shit in the games. In Rogue One, he's a piece of shit in Rogue One, and in Clone Wars, he wasn't a piece of shit. But then in Rebels, he's a piece of shit. Yeah, he just hates hard, bro. He hates so hard. And
well, remember when we meet him in Clone Wars, he's running the local resistance with his sister.
Yeah, I know. And then she gets killed.
And then his sister gets killed.
And then he gets mad,
and
bro.
And then he just he just starts like they killed my sister, and so he starts killing them back, and then he kills more of them, and then he escalates, and he keeps on escalating, like to the point where like he's become a madman who's just like, I need revenge against the Empire at all costs, no matter what.
Yeah, dude, man. I have to say, this show made me like Rogue One so much more, just because of the fact that they explained why there wasn't a lot of defenders in Rogue One, because the fucking commander or the what was the mayor or some shit, like the mayor blew up the gas tanks, which killed Kanan. And they had to stop production of the fucking defenders. That's why in Rogue One there isn't defenders flying everywhere. There's like 2 or 3, which fucking I love that. And then you see Saw Gerrera has the very first U-wing, and that's his ship. He's flying around in the U-wing, which I was like, oh my god, this is. I don't know if they came out at the same time, but I assumed that it came out before Rogue One, but maybe it came out at the same time. That's why there was so many.
They may have come out around the same time.
Yeah, because there was Super Troopers, or I don't know what they're called, the Black Troopers. What are those things called?
The Death Troopers or something like that?
Whatever. Those were all over that season. It was a bunch of shit from Rogue One. So I was like, oh my god, if this I just assumed it came out before, and like Rogue One. It just made me feel a lot better. But yeah, dude, Saw Gerrera, I loved seeing him here because it explains why he's such a piece of shit when he finds out that like that planet got gassed. What was that planet? The one with the bugs. The planet, fuck, I forget.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I'm really bad with names. It's the Battle of shit. It's the one with the bugs, man. It was like the biggest fight it was the last fight in the Clone Wars in the movies. Fuck, whatever. That planet, and you find out that the reason why they became what?
No, not Utapau. Yeah, Clone Wars, I think, is Utapau.
No. It's not Utapau. It's the one with the bugs. Geonosis.
Oh, there we go.
And you find out why, because all of a sudden those bugs are gone. They don't exist anymore. They're not used in any more canon. And why is that? Because the fucking Empire went over there and they gassed the fucking nest and they killed every one of them. I'm like, oh my god, that's so cool that you find that out, and that's why Saw hates him even more. Then Saw also finds the first giant kyber crystals that they were harvesting to make the fucking Death Star, and he was the only one with his finger on the pulse because everybody else is like, dude, they're not making a giant super weapon. He's just like, I know these assholes. That's exactly what they're doing. Oh my god,
that's all the Geonosians do is make giant death weapons.
Yep.
You know.
Dude, so cool.
Freaking but episode 3 we get Bo-Katan, and we get to episode 4 and he goes back to Navarro, and lo and behold, Grief Karga is like the mayor of Navarro. He's like the guy who's running things. And we've got Cara Dune is like the marshal. And we're gonna repair your ship, but we need your help. And bro, the reveal that they've been using the child's blood to try to inject force powers, I guess.
Right. This is the reason why I forgot about this show, because I felt this episode because I felt like they're trying to shoehorn clone Palpatine.
Is it clone Palpatine or is it Snoke?
Either one.
Remember in the beginning of Rise of Skywalker, he walks into the planet and he starts seeing
oh, that's right. There's a bunch of Snokes. Yeah, you're right. I didn't think about that.
And I wonder if it's because the child's blood is not human blood, by injecting and because we know that the Empire are xenophobics and they don't have you ever watched those movies? There are really no members of the Empire who are not human.
Fact. Yep.
They are speciesist and stuff like that. But maybe the injection of the child's blood into a human creates that deterioration that causes the hair to fall out and the deformations on the skin and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but maybe. It's just it's the explanation of we're out of the subject's blood and we can't continue production of the test and stuff like that.
They couldn't take too much because he's so small. He's such a baby.
We get the cute moment with the child in school and with the macaroons. Which, by the way, you can order a 12-pack of those macaroons from Williams Sonoma for $50.
What?
Yeah, it's exactly my reaction.
Oh, come on, man.
$50 for 12 macaroons. I was like, for $50, those macaroons better be fucking laced with LSD or some shit.
Dude. Macaroons, just go to any fucking French bakery, you get macaroons.
Yeah. Can I have a set of macaroons? Can you make them kind of bluish green?
Yes. Yes, we can, because that's what we do here. Yes. So dumb, man. But no, actually that episode wasn't bad. I just forgot about it because I'm so hyped about Bo-Katan. I'm not gonna lie. But did you see the fucking crew member in the background? Because that was dope. They fucked up with that one. Yeah. But
then at the very end of the episode, when we get Moff Gideon, Dark Troopers, he's got there's two walls full of Dark Troopers.
Yeah, but they
cybernetic.
They always had Dark Troopers.
Dark Troopers are from the books. They're these half machine, part cyborg.
Didn't he have Dark Troopers? Oh wait, you're talking about
not Death Troopers.
Oh, okay, yes,
Dark Troopers.
Yes. I didn't notice. I thought those were just Death Troopers.
No, those are Dark Troopers.
Pull up an image because I didn't catch that at all.
Yeah, let me. Well, there's the image from the episode, which is kind of hard to see because like it's in the background. But if I pull, I think actually they were in the video games.
Well, I know what Dark Troopers are. I just didn't see it in the episode. I just thought they were Death Troopers. Which, by the way, I don't like Death Troopers. I think they look stupid.
They're just stormtroopers in black.
Yeah, they still can't shoot anything.
Yeah. So yeah, so these are like the Dark Troopers.
Yeah, but like, do they have like a shot? The first prototype is the one all the way to the. Well, the one all the way to the right is the one that Thrall is training with in Rebels, which I thought was dope.
Yeah, but the ones that we see like in the episode are more like this final version, which these things are they're basically droids, but they're like droids that are designed to kill. Like they're far above anything that we had in the Clone Wars and stuff like that. But it'd be good, Mando, when he goes up against those, those things are harder to kill than regular stormtroopers.
He'll be fine,
and they probably have better aim.
He'll be fine if you could take out that assassin droid. He'll be good. That assassin droid was some badass shit right there.
Yeah, but yeah, man, like they're building a great world with this show. And they're building this great world by using things that already existed in it, and just using it in different ways, man. Like honestly, like I know Kathleen Kennedy was around longer. I know Kathleen Kennedy was a higher up position in Lucasfilm, and I know that she was like the apparent successor after George Lucas left. But the apprentice to the master is Dave Filoni.
Yeah. Yep. He's the one who understands it. And I'm going to go back to Rebels real quick because fuck, that shit's good. That show captures the essence of original Star Wars perfectly. At the end, when you find out that one victory that they got on Lothal is what sparked the fucking actual rebellion, the Rebel Alliance. That is what Star Wars is all about, and they figured that shit out, and he did it beautifully.
We get, and don't we get the origin of Wedge?
Yeah,
he's one of the guys that defects, right?
Yep. He's one of the ones in a Scrapper base or whatever. What's the name of the droid? Scrappy base or some shit.
Yeah, something like that. But he's one of the TIE pilots that defects from the Empire.
Yep.
And we get the origin of Wedge Antilles, and he gets his start with Phoenix Squadron before they all kind of group together to form the official rebellion.
Yep. It's so cool, man. All that shit is that show is so masterfully done, bro. And well, damn, I keep forgetting the big blue cat thing. His background.
Oh man, I'm blanking on his name.
His history with
and his people and like.
Yep, and then they find out the way to get to the new planet is through him.
Not only that, but the guy who starts off as a villain in season 1
becomes the fucking traitor of the Galactic Empire,
who eventually turns. But that one of his major things that like he feels all this guilt over his like extermination of the people.
Yep.
And when it turns out that like no, they're not all dead, and there's
and they accept him. They accept him as one of their own, and I just got goosebumps again because it was so perfect. Yeah. And like you see that last shot where Zeb is hugging this guy with the chops, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so well done.
And Zeb is of the same species as the Jedi Master in Force
Fallen Order. Yeah,
Fallen Order. Yeah,
Fallen Order. Yep. It all ties together, man. It's so good. It's
it's very nice when it all ties together.
It does. It gives you like a good feeling in your belly. You're like, oh man, this feels so nice. Unfortunately, we can't get that with the movies. So all these people I've gone on like message boards and shit like that, and there's a lot of people who are like, dude, just let Filoni fucking do all the goddamn movies. No. This guy is a master at fucking doing the long burn. He is so good at the long burn. Let him make only the TV shows. Fuck the movies. We don't need any more movies. Just make the TV shows. This long burn is the best thing because you get so I wouldn't have given a shit if it was 2 hours of Maul trying to find Obi-Wan. I wouldn't give a shit. But because it was an entire season and the way it ends, I fucking felt bad for him and happy that he finally got his revenge against the Sith. You know what I mean? It's so cool. That long burn, man. I prefer it 100% more. I don't. At this point, I fucking throw away these movies. I don't care about these movies anymore. This guy has mastered fucking making these TV shows.
Well, but as good as he is, man, imagine what he could do with a movie.
True. Maybe if he put his mind into like making a 2-hour story, like a smaller story. But he is really good at doing the long burn. He's he's masterful at the long burn, bro. He's really good at it.
But like Filoni could like I would watch a 2-hour movie about Cobb Vanth and like the things going on and like a Western style movie set on Tatooine with Cobb Vanth after he's gotten the Boba Fett armor and like trying to like, you know, bring order to his town and stuff like that. Like I would totally watch that movie if a guy like Filoni was the guy that was in charge of the story.
Well, but at that point, we're just making it two episodes. That's all we're doing, or 3 episodes. Fine, whatever. Sure, he's good at doing it, man. I can't, dude. I'm a fan now, bro. After Clone Wars, I was like, this guy's really good. And then now that I finished Rebels, dude, he could do no wrong. Like fuck it, and even Mando, like even the worst episodes are still good. Like that spider episode, I did not like, but it wasn't horrible. You know what I mean? It wasn't something I fucking loved, but it wasn't horrible. Like, and then even the bad episodes are good.
And then I think what I love about what Filoni does is that he goes, yeah, look, we have all these existing characters, but I want to tell you stories with these other characters that you don't know.
Yes, please.
And I'll bring in characters that we know to help like tell the story. But the story's about these guys. You know, I think if you go back, man, going all the way back even to like Shadows of the Empire, you know, the fact that we're doing this story and we're in this familiar setting, but we're with a character that we don't know anything about. You know, I remember like that game was epic. That game was amazing. Epic.
By the way, the Outrunner is in. I think that's the name of the ship. The Outrunner is in Rebels, and it's not piloted by Ryder, but fucking, what are you gonna do?
Rendar? Dash Rendar?
Dash, my bad. Dash Rendar, yeah. It's not piloted by Dash, but it's the ship is there. It's there.
Or it could just be another Corellian freighter of the same make and model.
Oh, I'm just gonna believe it's that one. Because it would make me so much happier.
Because that's one of the things too, like okay, I get it. You know, the Rebel Alliance has like multiples of the same ship, and the Empire has multiples of the same ship. But you would think that like from time to time, there'd be another like Corellian freighter like the Millennium Falcon that somebody would run into.
Yep.
Like maybe obviously like in much newer condition and much better condition.
And still with the fucking the
escape pod
the
on it.
Escape pod is still attached to it, yeah.
But like the whole Corellian YT freighter or whatever that I think that ship is, like they didn't make one and that was it. Like they produced a line of them. They're like Toyota Corollas, you know. You're bound to see them, you know.
Yeah, you're gonna run into one. They that ship, or maybe not that specific one, but the one that they were flying was the Outrunner or whatever it was called. Or actually, maybe it's not. Maybe the model is CT 3000, whatever it's called. Maybe that's just the model. But I thought that was like the code for that one ship.
Well, but remember that ship, if I recall, it shows up I think in a background shot in like the special edition of A New Hope.
Yeah, but I don't count special editions because I felt like he just shoehorned a bunch of shit in.
And I think it's supposedly also in the shot of in Rise of Skywalker when like the entire armada shows up.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely there. I remember watching a screenshot
which the Ghost is there also.
Yep, the Ghost is there. There was the ship that they stole from Maul was there. Man, so good. Yeah. Oh my god, so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, fuck the movies. The shows are so much better. If you're listening to this and you're debating, just fucking watch these shows. It's hard to get through the first 2 seasons, but goddamn, is it worth it? Holy shit.
Yeah, man. And if you stuck with us this long, you know, thank you for sticking around. And I know that we barely touched on episodes 3 and 4, but I think we touched on them enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I think.
So hold on. Okay, fuck it. Since we're we didn't talk enough about Mando and this. I know that's what this episode was about. Speculations. Let's get into speculation territory. What do you think? The next episode, they already established that he's going to be looking for Ahsoka.
And that he's been told where to find her.
Exactly. So what exactly do you think might be happening in this? Because there's a lot to go through, especially now that I know about it. I could keep up. So,
so
first
of all,
know,
we've
what
got
do you
the whole
think?
thing where they put a tracker on his ship.
Correct.
So obviously expect the Moff Gideon to show up. You know, so I think we might expect to see maybe some live action lightsaber dueling from Ahsoka. Maybe even Ahsoka versus Moff Gideon, little lightsaber on dark saber action.
Oh fucking! I feel bad for Moth. He's not going to survive that. if that's where we're going, that guy is not surviving that bad boy. If he does, it's because if he does,
he cheats.
He cheats and Ahsoka gets overrun by like death troopers or something like that. There's no way he's beating her in a fight, like a one-on-one.
But what I don't know is if we're gonna get the answers that we're looking for. Obviously, Ahsoka's gonna recognize the child as the same species as Master Yoda. Or just like Ahsoka knew Master Yoda.
We already established the males are called Yodas and the females are Yaddles. So yeah, she's gonna recognize the Yoda. Yeah.
Yeah. Whether she's gonna say, oh, you want to go to this place, or whether she's gonna just take the child from him. I think this show, this is the Mandalorian and the child.
Yeah.
Right? This is Lone Wolf and Cub. I think the minute that he finds, the child's people, and he delivers the child to his people, the show's over.
Yeah, that's what I feel the same way. And the way Filoni does things, I feel like that's exactly what he's doing. I think it's if Ahsoka takes the child, he's going with her. Like there's no question. You know what I mean?
It's his mission.
Yeah.
That is his quest. He must deliver the child to his people. Or raise the child in the ways of as a youngling, and not as a youngling, as a foundling.
Yeah.
So either he starts to kind of teach this kid a little bit, or he's gonna deliver him to his people. Either way, it's weird. The timeline is weird because it's a child and it looks like an infant, but it's 50 years old. I know Master Yoda lived to be 900. But it's a weird like curve, like that this species would be in such a childlike manner for so long. So I don't know, man. We'll see. But definitely, I'm expecting. And episode 5 is being directed by Dave Filoni.
So hold on. Again, in Corca, I got some intel. Do you know the name of the next episode?
No, because I like to be surprised.
Do you want me to say it? I don't want to ruin. I got ruined for me, but it got me super hyped.
Well, that's the thing. That's one, because if you notice, like even when you go into Disney Plus,
they don't
put the episode title.
I know it was leaked, and he saw the leak. I don't know if it's real, because it was just he told me, but I don't know. But what
I don't want to know.
Okay, I won't say it.
And the next time we talk after the episode has come out, you'll tell me if the leaked title was correct or not.
If it was correct, all right, deal. But okay, so I have a little bit of a different take. I think what's going to happen is he's going to get to the planet to find Ahsoka, but
she won't be there.
She won't be there. So the fucking mission goes on. And there's more to it.
So you don't think we get Ahsoka till episode 8?
No, we're getting the fucking Luke Skywalker of fucking episode 7, 8, and 9. That's what we're getting. We're gonna see her at the very last episode.
Well, I think it's only 8 episodes, right?
Exactly. We're already on 5. So I think we're gonna
get her episode 8.
Yeah, we're gonna get her episode 8, and she's just gonna fucking say she's pretty much gonna tell you, oh, I have other things on my plate, and I think it's gonna go back to Rebels, baby. I think we're gonna fucking find Ahsoka, and we're gonna find fucking Sabine. I don't know if we're gonna.
How awesome is it if Sabine is with Ahsoka?
That's what I'm saying, because they both left together. So now it opens so many things. they both left together to find Ezra, and that's probably the mission that they're on. For 6 years, they've been looking for Ezra. You know what I mean? And then now Mando's going to tell her about this youngling, and she's not a Jedi, so she doesn't give a shit about this shit anymore. She's just like, I want to find my friend. You know what I mean? That's why this is what I'm thinking. This is not, I didn't hear any of this shit on the internet. This is my opinion because I just finished watching Rebel. I might be a little biased. So it's like, I think she's going to be like, dude, I don't care. I'm not with that anymore. I'm looking for my friend. You want to help? This is what we're doing.
Well,
and
it
the
might
only
be
thing
one of
that's
those
gonna
things also where it's like he looks like my Master Yoda, but Master Yoda never talked about where he was from or anything like that, so nobody knows what planet of origin Master Yoda had.
True.
And leaves it at that.
True. Yeah, it makes it difficult. But I think what's going to fucking turn the tide is we're going to find. I think she's going to be. She's okay. I think. Whew, I think Ahsoka. You're going to find her in episode 8, the beginning of it, and it's going to be an entire episode of like shit happening because the Empire knows where they're at, so they have to they have to get out of a sticky situation. And then at the very end, you find Sabine, and then Sabine tells her, "Is like I think we found out. I think we know where he went, like where he jumped to." And then the very last scene is going to be Moss is going to be there and like surround them, and he's going to come out with the dark saber. And now everything changes. Now Ezra is second because now Sabine is like, "Fuck this guy, he stole that shit." And I think it's gonna end right there. And then
I'm wondering if maybe Bo-Katan comes back before the end of the season.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe. We obviously know that she's looking for Moff Gideon. She doesn't know that Moff Gideon is looking for the child.
So all these things could be tied up at the end, but I don't think it's going to be next episode. If we do see Ahsoka next episode, it's probably going to be very brief.
Well, how badass would it be if, Moff Gideon, he loses the Darksaber, but escapes with his life, only to get back to the fleet and find Admiral Thrawn.
Ooh. Oh my God! If Thrawn didn't die, he wouldn't die. He's such a badass that he would have figured a way out of that shit.
Dude, well, also, remember, it's wherever they wound up there together.
Together, exactly. Yeah.
And we know that like those creatures, when they jump into hyperspace, like they jump like into other parts of the galaxy that no one knows.
Yeah, they're not on any record. They go on uncharted territory. Yeah, it's so sick. So yeah, I don't know what's going to happen, but I have a feeling because, dude, they're kind of tying up a lot of loose ends in Rebels with this show. You know what I mean? They tied up Bo. They showed Bo. They showed the Darksaber. They've been hinting at, before the even show started, they've been hinting at fucking Ahsoka being in it. Dude, that's all Rebel stuff. So I wouldn't doubt that they, obviously, like you said, this guy's not going to make a show about his old characters. It's going to be about Lone Wolf and Cub. It's going to be about Mando and the baby.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the overall mission that's happening in the background while he's trying to figure this one out, because I don't think he's going to give a fuck about the Darksaber. He's like, I don't give a shit about that. He wants to take this kid.
What was it he said? Mandalore is a cursed planet and stuff like that.
Yeah. I don't think he gives a fuck about any of that shit. I think what he wants to do, like even both told him, he's like, I need your help, and he's just like, yeah, I need to get this kid to where it needs to go. I don't care about what you need. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I'm on my quest. The armorer gave me this quest. I need to finish this quest at all costs.
Yeah. So I don't think any of that shit's going to change anything. But I think that conflict of them trying to get the Darksaber from Mob and stopping the growth of this fucking, or like the Galactic Empire starting up all over again is going to be the main conflict overall that's happening in this world when this guy's just trying to do the cowboy quest of getting, or the samurai quest from getting from point A to point B safely. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what's going to be happening. I hope so, at least. That would be so fucking sick. That would be like an awesome theme for the entire fucking thing.
And I'll be honest, man. Like, I hope, look, I'm loving this show. I think it's great.
Me too.
But I think Dave Filoni does so well when he knows where his endpoint is.
Yep.
That I know, okay, they've already renewed it for a season 3. I hope they tell them with enough time. Okay, we're gonna give you this number of seasons. Plan out your story so that because man, when Dave Filoni knows how it's gonna end, he does a great job.
Honestly, this show could go on forever because it's the only thing making Disney Plus money. Have you seen like the view count on that shit? It like blows everything else on Disney Plus out of the water. It's like that's all everybody like waits for. That's what they want to see. So like Disney is not going to throw that away. They'll if Dave Filoni says I want to take a year break, he's like, yeah, sure, you do you baby, you do whatever you need to do.
I think they already announced Pedro Pascal will no longer be filming.
Oh, really?
So a lot of the work that's done is done by stunt actors, and it's become one of those things where it's like I'm under a helmet and nobody sees my face anyway. Like,
so he's just
I think they've arranged it in a way where like they can film the show without him, and he could just come in and then just do the the dialogue.
Oh, okay, I'm okay with that.
I mean, because I don't care. He's essentially a cartoon character. Like nobody sees his lips moving. Nobody knows it's him.
Yeah.
And then eventually, if one day if they need to like remove his mask, then he'll come in and he'll film that.
Yeah, that was actually. Speaking of that, it was funny when he was eating with the child.
Yeah, just kind of
he took off the helmet to take a sip and then put the helmet back on.
Well, he didn't take the helmet off. He just kind of
yeah. That's what I mean. I was gesturing it, but you can't see me. He moved it up just enough to take the sip, and then he brought the mask back down, and then he moved it up like literally a second later to move it up to take another sip, and he put it back down. That must be exhausting. imagine moving the mask every time you take a bite,
bro. If that was like the way it was for me, like if I had to be like, I would just invest in straws.
Just make straws. Fuck it. Yeah, man.
Because you could just slip the straw underneath the mask and take a sip without having to remove the mask.
So so cool, man. All this shit is so cool. This restored my faith in Star Wars, man. Not gonna lie, because I tapped out. I was just like, dude, I don't care about Star Wars. I still don't care about the movies, but these shows, holy fuck, man.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be my next purchase. I just had a couple of expenses that I wasn't expecting this month, so I got to pay that off. But I think in the next like couple of months, I'm gonna order myself a Mandalorian helmet.
Nice.
And just give that thing a custom paint job and some of that. I still haven't decided on like a color scheme. But I think, man, I want to have like I have a Rebel helmet. I have an X-wing pilot helmet. Which I gotta order the same guy that I ordered the helmet from on Etsy. He sells this like thing that you like screw into the wall. That like has like a thing that comes up, and then you put the helmet on it so you can display it.
Oh, okay.
I gotta order that, but then I'm like, man, I'm gonna get a Mando helmet too, and put that up on the wall somewhere. Yeah. Also, just like give it a custom paint job, and just make it my own.
Yeah, Mandalorian helmets and armor and all. Dude, speaking of a cool Mandalorian helmet, fucking God, I'm really bad with names. Sabine's mom, I forgot her name. She has like a Wolverine-looking helmet. Did you notice it? Like it kind of like two like flaps fly out. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
It looked so sick. It kind of looked like a Wolverine.
Well, there's there's different versions of the Mandalorian helmet. As you can tell.
Yeah.
But one of the ones that I was looking at that I kind of liked, they call it like the Scout helmet. And it has like these two little antennas that go up, and it kind of looks like Batman's cowl.
Really, I never saw that one.
Yeah,
I've never seen that one. I've seen the one that they had in the Rebel show. The pilots they had like, remember in Rogue One, the stormtrooper with that like plate that goes over the forehead. They had a Mandalorian helmet that looked just like that. So like, but that was just the tank helmet for Rogue One. I don't know, but that shit, the helmets for Mandalorians are so goddamn cool. They've been cool since I was a kid. They're still cool now. It's just dope as fuck. So yeah, man. So I think that's where we're headed with Mando. I'm very excited because I think the show is dope, and now that I've seen the fucking the Rebels show, I'm hyped for where it could possibly go. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
even if everything I said doesn't come true, at least a little bit of something is going to, and that's enough for me. Like even if it's just Ahsoka.
So this is the one I was talking about. So it's like it's got like two little, and it kind of looks like a freaking Batman helmet.
It does. It looks like the Batman who laughs.
Yeah. Which, freaking I love the fact that like there's all these little differences. Like, obviously there's the Boba Fett one that has like the rangefinder that flips down. This Mando has like a clean helmet with nothing on it. There's that one that has a. There's the guy that we had in the first season, who's got like the big gun. That like they call him the Mandalorian Heavy, which he's got like the one like antenna on the side of the helmet that's like different than the Boba Fett style one. And all these like variations, the armor with like her crown on it.
The armor's helmet reminds me of Sabine's and Bo's. They have like the same design.
And I don't know if it's just because she's female, but it has those like rounded eyes.
I think Sabine's helmet had rounded eyes.
It's possible. I don't remember exactly. It's probably on this shirt somewhere.
Like Sabine. I just looked it up. Sabine has rounded eyes. Mm-hmm. Actually, I think you're right. I think all the female Mandalorians have the rounded eyes. Yeah, I think that's what it is.
But it gives it like this like different look, because when it's just a straight line, it looks very robotic. But when it has that like rounded eye to it, it looks very animalistic.
Yeah.
I think that, like, and I think originally when they did Bo-Katan's, I think it was inspired by the fact that like her group was going to be called the Night Owls, and if you look at it, it looks very much like an owl's drawing in that style.
Yeah, that's what they were called. They were called the Night Owls. Yeah, Ursa Wen. She has. Yeah, the females all have that like rounded helmet. Mm-hmm. I just found Ursa. Pull up Ursa Wen's, or Ren, sorry, helmet. That fucking Wolverine, Batman, spiky ball. Oh God, it looks cool. It looks like a cat, actually. Ursa Wen, so cool.
Ren,
yeah, my bad. House Ren. God, that's also really cool. Also, it's really cool that you find out Sabine created a weapon that fucking kills her own people, and they all fucking hated her for it. That was really cool. It was a real nice twist. By the way, I just realized I probably spoiled the shit out of that show for whoever never seen it. I spoke about all the coolest moments of that show. Too bad. Oh well. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, I found there's an Etsy shop that's selling a 3D file. Oh, that's the wrong screen. Share screen, Chrome tab. This one. No. Yeah, you know what?
Well, that's the one. That's the one right there, though. Yeah. It's just
but I keep selecting the wrong tab. There you go. This is what I wanted.
Yeah, look, that's a cool ass fucking helmet.
And if you notice, like that rounded shape to it, it almost looks animalistic. It looks like and then I like the color scheme. I know what you're talking about with the Wolverine, because it's got these little things up here that
if you paint those black, that's Wolverine.
Right. Paint those black or like blue.
Yeah, whatever. The same, or brown. It doesn't matter. All those work. Yeah. That looks like Wolverine. That little swoosh thing that goes back there. But it looks so dope. It looks so cool, man. Mm-hmm. So it's God.
Let me see what other designs does this guy have?
Fucking just hype it. Oh man, that was $15 for that helmet?
Because it's just a file.
Ah, okay. So for 3D printing then.
Yeah. It's just a file. So he's got the Bo-Katan one.
Without any of the design, obviously, because it's just a file.
Yeah.
Bo-Katan, bro. Holy shit. She made it into the episode 3. That is so cool. Oh look, the crown of the down to the right.
Yeah.
The fucking armor.
The armor's helmet. And this seller just has the 3D print files. That's all this person sells. You can look up If you do Bo-Katan helmet, I freaking love Etsy. This has become one of my new favorite things. That's a pattern. Probably do this if we go. Let's go low of $200.
Dude,
There
actually,
you go.
I remember you telling me back when Ahsoka was rumored to be in this show, and then they like shortly after said it was going to be what's the actress's name that's going to play her? Um, fuck, I forget her name. You don't remember her name?
Rosario Dawson.
Rosario Dawson. When you said that, you're like, man, I'm kind of disappointed that they're not using the voice actress for.
Yeah, Ashley Eckstein.
Yeah, and I was just like, nah, maybe she's not a good actress for physical. But now that you tell me that Bo-Katan did the voice acting and she actually plays Bo-Katan,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel like they should have just hired the voice actors because now now Ahsoka's voice is going to be different. It's not going to be the same.
So yeah, and I love how you can get it either like clean or worn, and they'll actually like scuff it up and all that for you. Of course, getting an option like this one is like a lot more expensive.
Bro, if you want that shit, just go on
No, but if
Instagram.
I've already looked, and for like 100 and something, $200, you can get like a good construction helmet that's got no what do you call it? No paint job or anything on it.
Yeah, what I was trying to say is if you want that kind of armor, dude, go on Instagram and just find like Star Wars cosplayers. Those guys do that for a living, and you could just contract
David,
them to make one real quick.
well, I don't know about contracting, but if you go to Facebook, the Mandalorian Mercs, which is the costume club, we're in Florida. Our local clan is the Scarif clan. You can go. They have a Facebook page.
So you could just ask them to. I said contracting, but I was trying to remember the not contracting. What's the other commission?
Yeah.
Commission them
Well,
to make.
so the thing about like from what I've read a lot of the stuff I've read is like all these guys are like they're hobbyists, and they can maybe point you in the right direction, but they're not really like they're not of them are not makers. So like they might point you in like, oh yeah, I got my helmet from this guy, and I got. But the thing that a lot of those there are going to be Etsy shops anyway.
Yeah, but I'm saying I'm not talking about that shit. I'm talking about an actual cosplayer. Those they like pride themselves in making their own costumes. So if you see a Star Wars cosplayer and they've made like Mandalorian helmets and shit like that, you could probably commission them to make a fucking helmet
Yeah,
if you really want
maybe.
to.
And I don't know, and the thing is, I don't know how much it would cost.
Oh, it's probably not going to be cheap.
But again, they might also be like, yeah, here's my Etsy shop.
Yeah.
But the thing that I like about like one of the reasons why I'm willing to spend a little bit more money is that some of the ones that are a little bit more expensive are actually made out of ABS plastic. So like it's like the actual materials that like the helmets would have been made for the shows, which is like it looks good, it looks screen accurate. It's a little bit lighter weight than like the 3D printed. Because the thing with 3D printing is that like once you print the thing in 3D, first of all, that material can get pretty heavy. Second of all, like you gotta do a shit ton of sanding to get all the like the print lines out of it.
Yeah, fuck that. That shit. I've seen it. I don't like 3D printing. It's not amazing.
It's good for some stuff. For other stuff, it's
you would have to. There's a lot of polish to it.
yeah.
Once you
Like
make it, it's
I
not done.
gave a buddy of ours for Christmas last year. I ordered a 3D printed version of the gun from Trigun.
Okay.
Since he likes to dress up as Vash the Stampede. And, a game in good condition, pretty much already assembled. I had to do a couple of things to it just to get it into better shape. Like I had to put like some magnets on it so that when the gun closed, it would stay closed and all of that. But then I sanded the hell out of it and I gave it a custom paint job, which I think came out pretty damn decent. Which I've picked up a few trips and tricks here and there, like picked up a few pointers on how to do. Actually, I've been working on. If you look in the background here, this is my little R2 unit that I got from Galaxy's Edge. Trying to get to him without stretching out my my cord here. And so obviously he's brand new, but I've kind of gone to work a little bit on him. And if you can notice, like I've kind of given him some
scuffs,
some scuffs and some metal work and stuff like that, and then I still got to put some more dirt on him and stuff like that. Like his legs are too nice and clean looking. So the next thing that's got to go on this guy is like a little bit of like a dirt wash and like a black wash. So like just to make him look a little bit more.
Well, yeah, you're it looks pretty good already.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I gave the like all the red panels that you see like on the front and all that. I painted all of that.
Oh, because it was all pure white.
It was all pure white. So I gave him a little bit of accent. Like I made him my own. Like this is my R2 unit. Why should my R2 unit look exactly like every other R2 unit that use the same body and use the same legs and all that as mine?
Yep.
So it's like it's one of the things I love about the Star Wars universe. Like it's okay for things to look a little shitty. The lines on that droid, they shouldn't be nice and clean and with no wear and tear because it doesn't belong in Star Wars. If this was Star Trek, that droid would have to be like impeccable.
Yep.
Like the level of masking that I would have had to have done on each and every part that I was going to paint to make sure that like paint didn't spill to any other area would have to have been huge. But because it's Star Wars, it's like, all right, it doesn't matter that corner the paint didn't go all the way, or that that maybe the paint faded a little bit here, and because either way, I'm gonna hit it up. Like I used the metallic to kind of give it that extra and all of that. And again, it's a work in progress. I still got a couple more steps to do on it. I've just been too lazy to do it. Maybe now over this long weekend, I'll finally get it done.
When you said just make it your own and give it some scuff marks, it reminded me of Shinies from Clone Wars, the Clone Wars armors, and then that made me remember another great moment in fucking Rebels where you see Rex see the first time in like years that he sees clankers or and then the guy's trying to like mimic another war. And then they get to the fucking room to like kill each other. And then Ezra's like, dude, you guys both were betrayed by the same people. Like, you guys should not be enemies. You should be allies. And then they allied to fight the Empire. So many great moments in that show. It's so good. So good.
Just the fact that they bring back Rex.
Oh, yeah. And he's a main character, too.
They bring back what? They bring back Rex. They bring back
Wolf
and Gregor.
Gregor, yeah.
And Gregor's got a little nuts.
Gregor dies too at the end. Sad moment. Yeah, man, that show is fantastic. I think we're running a little long now. We're at 1:30.
We're at 1:30, and a lot of this has been like how great Rebels is. but
this is the problem where we have episodic episodes or episodic seasons.
Well, I'm sure when we get to the end of Mando,
we're going to do the same. Exactly. We're going to do this exact same shit. Yeah. But, the fact that I just finished all that and I could talk about all the great moments in it it's so cool.
You know what, Matt? I kind of talked about it and we've thrown out completely the fact that like we were going to talk about like Thanksgiving movies.
Oh, yeah. No, like, that's out the window.
That's out the window.
I saw Rebels and that changed everything.
Yeah. But I just get because I just kind of blurted out the news at the beginning of the episode, but I did want to get a little bit of like your feedback. What did you think of Wonder Woman's coming to HBO Max?
Don't really care, honestly. Like that movie's probably going to be cool, but I'm not like invested. I don't really care. But it's a good move because a lot of people are too scared to go to the theaters anyway.
Well, I said at the beginning, I was like, it kind of sucks. Was like, that's the kind of movie you want to see in a theater.
Yeah, but not a lot of people are going to
get it. It's life in the time of COVID. You can't really hang on to things like that.
But the fact of the matter is, if it went to theaters, I wouldn't watch it. But now that it's on a streaming service, I might watch it. Like, so
And
like
then
it's more accessible.
Yeah, then I also brought up, and I'd like to get your input on this because I know you're all about artist rights. The fact that Netflix pulled pulled Chappelle's show because Dave Chappelle was upset because they haven't been paying him for the streaming rights on the show because of his contract.
Yep.
And Netflix was like, you know what, Dave, we like you, we like doing business with you. If it upsets you, we're going to pull the show.
I think that's a really good move, and I think it's very. I think it's very respectful that they did that shit because personally, I understand the business side of shit. He was under contract to make that show. It doesn't belong to him, even though it has his name on it. It belongs to Cartoon Network, or not Cartoon Network. Sorry, Comedy Central, and they can do whatever the fuck they want with it. But the fact of the matter is,
here's the thing: when he signed his contract, streaming didn't exist.
True. Yeah.
So one would say that, well, streaming didn't exist, and you have obviously the rights, to print DVDs and Blu-rays and sell it on home video. But if you're going to be using this format that didn't exist when we signed our contract, one would say that you have to renegotiate the contract.
Renegotiate, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Then and if the question is, and I don't know because I don't know what the Netflix financials are. Does Netflix, because they've ended their streaming early, does Netflix get some of the money they paid for the licensing back?
Yeah,
because Netflix doesn't just show the show; Netflix has to pay to show that show.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know how that works, but what I do know is that like the story that goes behind Dave Chappelle and his show, and the reason why he fucking disappeared for as long as he did, and he came back, but he was still under the radar. He was out of the fucking the limelight, and he was out of the public eye. He was very personal with his life, and he wasn't trying to be that guy anymore. You know what I mean? That is a very bad taste. You know what I mean? So like, I'm pretty sure that guy is not cool with Comedy Central. Like he's not cool with them. But he's been really cool with Netflix. He put out a bunch of fucking stand-ups. He has a good working relationship with.
I don't know how much longer Comedy Central has.
That too.
Because for a long time, Comedy Central was really the only place that, like, if you had a comedy special, that it could be aired. Because HBO was only doing like one comedy special like every couple months or whatever. Showtime, I think, was doing. But Netflix has now become the thing. If you're a comedian and you want to release a special, Netflix is now the platform.
Yep. So that's what I'm saying. He has a good working relationship with Netflix, and obviously Netflix likes him because they let him make like whatever the fuck he wants. Like he has full reign. He could do whatever he wants. And then they put his show on the air, and he goes, I think it was on Twitter and on Instagram Live or something like that, and he was talking about it. And he made a joke about it in his monologue in Saturday Night Live, where he's just like, 4 years ago I was here, and it was during the elections of 2016, and it's kind of ironic that the election of 2020 just happened, and I'm here again, and a lot of things have changed, and Dave Chappelle shows on Netflix, but I still don't make a penny off of it. And he made like a joke, and everybody laughed, but there's some truth behind it. It's kind of fucked up. You know what I mean? Like in so many years, he's still not making money off of a show with his name on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's fucked up. So like he just brought that up. He's just like, look, we have a good working relationship. I would ask that you guys just respect it and take that thing off
and they did.
And I think that's awesome. You know what I mean? That's I hate this corporate greed. I hate that shit. This guy changed the game in sketch comedy. He changed the game. He made it cool. You know what I mean? Like there's a bunch of shows that came after him that did the exact same shit that he did. So there's a lot to be respected about what he did, and you have to respect it by showing respect. You know what I mean? Pay him for what he did. And if you don't want to pay him, then don't fucking use it.
And I'll be honest, like I haven't brought up this. I would love to get a lawyer's perspective on it, Because again, I'm thinking, hey, you signed this contract, and when you signed this contract, like the longest video on the internet was 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And home streaming was not anything anyone ever thought was even going to be a thing. So I would think that because the technology didn't exist when the contract was signed, that when it comes to that technology, that contract should be like null and void.
I think when he did Chappelle's Show, Netflix existed, but it was way back when it was like
When it was like
Blockbuster.
they were mailing discs to your house.
Yeah, it was Blockbuster, so you would get physical discs to watch at home.
Yeah.
So like,
Oh,
yeah.
All I know is for me, it's not a problem because I own a copy of Chappelle's Show on DVD. It's in my room. I can watch it whenever I want.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that if they do want to put it on a streaming service, they have to renegotiate it and like pay him at least a little bit of royalties to have
and
a
not
show
only him,
with his fucking name on it.
Yeah, not only him, like every showrunner, every show creator out there. Not necessarily the actors, because the actors you got hired to do a job, but he was the show creator.
Yep.
He was the head writer. He was the showrunner. This was his creation that he made. Yeah, I think if you're the guy who created that program, and they're gonna put it on a platform that didn't exist when you created the program, they need to come to you and be like, "Hey, we've got this new technology. We want to run the show. Let's come to an agreement."
I agree.
You know,
I think they got to compensate him in some way, bro. It's mostly because of the drama that he went through. Like when he came back, he just spilled the beans and he talked about everything. He was just like, dude, the industry fucked me up. They worked me to the bone. They made me their slave.
But
what I mean?
Because he did that, I think it worked out for the benefit of so many people that came after him.
Yep.
Exactly. And look, I will go no further than our very own producer Fungus, and him and Edwin and the guys at Lemon City, and they're doing a morning radio show at onsideradio.com, but they own their show. Like, because what would have sucked would have been like them agreeing to go be on this morning radio and then signing over like, oh, but we own your show now, which is what happened with a lot of these podcasts that are like on Barstool and stuff like that, where it's like, oh, you want to renegotiate, but we own your show. Like those girls with the Call Me Daddy podcast or whatever.
Oh yeah,
yeah. They signed over their show to Barstool. Barstool could replace them as hosts if they want. They own the name, they own the show. It's their property because the girls signed it over to them in exchange for a paycheck.
Yeah, well,
and it's one of those things where as a content creator, which we are now content creators, if we get approached by a podcast network or something along those lines, and they're like, yeah, we want to make you guys part of the podcast network, it's like great, but we still own our stuff. Like, I'm not signing anything that gives you ownership over my stuff. So it's
I agree. Yeah. The owning your craft is like the most important thing, and I think that on a business side, like obviously, like there's like a bunch of gray areas where obviously he signed a contract that would make know.
And again, and it's one of those things where when he signed that contract, he was a stand-up comedian. He had done a movie, but he wasn't. He wasn't the Dave Chappelle that we would come to know now.
Mm-hmm. The genius.
So obviously, at the time when he signed that contract, I'm sure it was it's like, man, I could really use this money. It's a good paycheck. He didn't know it was gonna blow up. Look at Rick and Morty. When Dan Harmon talks about Rick and Morty, and he's like, and it's great, and we get paid for the show, but like, I walk into a store and there's like Rick and Morty merchandise everywhere, and I don't get a penny from any of that stuff because it wasn't in the contract, and that's why they held out on that like season 4 for so long.
Yeah, I'd be pissed too, man. That's one great thing about Image Comics.
Well, that was also the greatest thing about like George Lucas was like, all right, well, you guys, you want to give me this much to make the movie, but I'm gonna keep all the licensing rights. And they didn't think it was gonna be anything big, so they allowed him to keep the licensing rights.
Dummies.
Well, I think for a long time after that, anybody that wanted to keep the licensing rights, studios were like, no.
Yeah, because they saw it's merchandising. That's where the real money
the
is.
real money from the picture is made. Anyways, yeah, we're running long. The
Rebels,
last
man,
thing
they'll
that
do it to you.
the last thing that that I covered in the news that I don't know if you were even aware of this, but on Sunday night Survivor Series,
I was
after 30 years, the Undertaker has
Undertaker.
retired.
Yep. Or air quotes retired because we don't know if he'll come back.
Well, I
He
mean,
he is the under, but actually he might because he's been on talk shows and he's been like talking about like the
yeah, after like 29 years, this last
yeah.
year, he's been like, I'm ready to open up. I'm ready to talk about the business.
Yeah, that's the sign that shows that he's probably not coming back.
Yeah.
So
And
like,
I think he's just, he's like, man, after 30 years of killing myself, after 30 years of like, and he's made good money,
I would hope so.
and one would argue, I think you could successfully argue, maybe even more so than Hulk Hogan, because Hulk Hogan was only with WWE for like I think around a total of 10 years, because he was there from like the mid '80s to like '90, and then he kind of like went away to WCW, and he came back in like '99 to like early 2000s for another short run. But I think you could say that Undertaker in those 30 years probably drew more money than Hogan, and probably had like a more successful career than Hogan did.
Well, I mean, yeah, maybe, but I don't think he's as iconic as Hogan. Hogan's iconic as fuck.
I don't
But
know, man.
I will say that the Undertaker, I remember back like in the fucking video game days, I loved his lore. He was the guy that came back from the dead and he beats you by putting you in a coffin and he buries you alive. All that cool shit. And he stuck to it. Obviously, he changed it here and there. He became like the biker guy and
Yeah.
he did a bunch of
And
weird
then he
shit.
eventually went back to being the dead man.
Exactly. And then I don't know how he ended it. I didn't actually. I actually did. I don't know if I saw the fight. It
At the
wasn't
end
like
of his
this,
career, he was the Undertaker again.
he was the dead guy. Because
Yeah.
I saw a fight on the internet. I don't know if this was the last Survivor Series. It was some dude talking shit about him, and they were in like this like
The graveyard
farm.
match?
It was like a farm with like tombstones everywhere.
Yeah, the graveyard match.
That was his last.
WrestleMania. That was WrestleMania from this year.
Okay, so that was WrestleMania. So that wasn't Survivor Series because he
No.
was a biker in that fight.
Well, he showed up on the motorcycle, but it was all the dead man gimmick.
Yeah. But he didn't do the eye thing and the tongue, and he didn't do all that shit.
No, he
so
wasn't. He wasn't in the ring, and
yeah, I don't know. I didn't know if that. I haven't been watching wrestling in years, so I don't know what he was doing there. But
and who knows? This might be one of those things where maybe because it does kind of suck. They wanted to do the retirement because they wanted it 30 years, and it is, I believe, it was 30 years like to the date.
Really?
Like, I think this year's Survivor Series happened to be on the same day as the Survivor Series from 1990.
Well, that's
So it was
kind of poetic then.
Yeah, so they kind of wanted to do that, but you never know. I mean, he might, because the next thing for him would obviously be
the fucking Undertaker. He could come back from the dead, bro. It's fine.
Now I'll tell you what did look freaky. I saw the video of that retirement. Is Vince McMahon looks like a cadaver.
I haven't seen the guy.
Like-
I only
like
saw what I saw on the internet, so I don't even know what fights were from what. But I just wanted to see his last hurrah. And the video that I thought I saw was the last hurrah. Was that the one where what I just said, that he buries the guy with like a bulldozer, and then like the last shot is the guy's hand coming out of the dirt. I think his name was JC or some shit like that, or CJ or some bullshit. I don't know.
Let me see.
But he did have the biker aesthetic. He came in on a bike. His opponent came in a casket, and he was talking shit. And Undertaker was just talking shit to him the entire time. He's like, "Where you going, boy?
Yeah,
I'm gonna beat your ass, boy."
Oh,
look at that! You made me bleed, boy.
So this is what Vince McMahon looked like at Survivor Series.
Holy shit!
And he looks like he's the body in the coffin.
Yeah, dude.
Like especially like under the eyes and stuff like that. Like he looks like, to the point where I think I saw something like somebody commented something like was the Undertaker's last act before retiring to embalm Vince McMahon?
Vince McMahon used to be buff as fuck. I remember seeing him in the 90s.
It's funny because one of the podcasts I listen to is I listen to Jim Cornette, which I don't know if you remember Jim Cornette. He was a manager. He was the guy that used to always like come out in a suit with tennis racket.
No.
Um,
Sounds so gimmicky.
so like he's talking about his podcast. He goes, one of the interactions I had with Undertaker back in the day when I was working with WWE is I was in and he says the name of the city. I don't remember what city it was, but there was like a terminally ill kid, and like his hero was the Undertaker. So like I take him backstage to to introduce him to the Undertaker, and the Undertaker goes like he's gonna autograph a picture, and he writes down the letter R, and then like he like stops like for a moment and like panics, and then he finds a way to turn the R into like a B, and then he writes like best wishes, the Undertaker or something like that.
Oh,
Because he realized that he was about to write on like a terminally ill kid's picture, rest in peace.
that's on brand though. It's fucked up, but it's
Well,
it's on brand.
that's the thing. Like at that point, he'd been signing all the pictures like rest in peace, Undertaker. And like he realized, like, oh wait, this is like a sick kid. Like I can't write rest in peace.
Yeah, that would be so fucked up. Well, at least he caught it.
Yeah. But he says he's like the look on his face when he realized what he was about to write on this sick kid's picture. But yeah, man,
like I saw an interview with him. He said that he would never go like on any kind of like talk show or like morning
because
show.
it would be out of character.
It would be out of character. He did it specifically because the Undertaker would never do that. He was supposed to be the dead man walking. You know what I mean? He's not a talkative guy. He wouldn't talk. So like, just the fact that he even saw fans is kind of like, whoa, hold up.
Well, I remember, like his ESPN commercial.
I don't know. I
like it was one of those ESPN commercials where like, and he's just like there, like silently, like watching or something. Like he doesn't say anything. Like you could YouTube it later after.
I'll do it, dude. But that's one thing that I miss about wrestling is the lore that people had with their characters because they don't have that anymore.
I'll be honest, man. One of the things that I've been disliking about wrestling in the modern era is like, bro, all these moves that like would have been finishing moves, like these badass freaking like flipping pile drivers and shit like that. That you look at them and you're like, holy shit! Like if somebody hit somebody with that for real, like you would kill them. And they're using them as like transition moves.
Yeah,
and then
I feel like that it was the beginning of the end with The Rock.
Yeah,
because The Rock's finishing move was the people's elbow, which is just an elbow drop. But like he flared it up, he would take the elbow pad off. And he would smell the air and shit like that. It was like a whole thing, but it was just an elbow drop. It was
right. But take for example, like the super kick, right? Shawn Michaels goes in the corner, starts stomping his feet. When the guy turns around, hits him with that fucking kick in the chin, the sweet chin music. Guy goes down, 1, 2, 3, end of match, right?
You're right.
Now you watch a match and like there are 3 super kicks in a match. And like they're not the sweet chin music. They're not going into the corner, but they're like popping up and kicking the guy in the face, and you're like that was a finishing maneuver, and you've done 3 of them to this guy. He keeps getting right back up. So
it's the flair, man. There's no flair anymore. These cats won't do flair. Like Steve Austin, what was it? I don't even know what that move was, but the fact that he would like kick you in the gut,
the stunner,
the stunner, yeah.
The stunner is still a finishing move.
Oh, it still is?
They haven't made the stunner a transitionary move. But, like, for example, excuse me, there's a move called the Canadian Destroyer. And a Canadian Destroyer, what it is like you go into, like, a powerbomb position, but instead of, like, picking the guy up into a powerbomb, like, you flip over the guy, but you do, like, a full 360 into, like, a pile driver.
Sounds dangerous.
It is dangerous, but it's also like you look at it and you go, well, first of all, most pile drivers are banned in WWE. But the fact that this guy just did that move, he did it off the top rope, and the guy kicked out of it? Like, what the fuck? So it is one of those things where like Undertaker would jump through the ropes, right? But Undertaker only did it at pay-per-views. Like, he wouldn't just jump through the ropes in a random match. Like, he would, and actually, he wouldn't jump through the ropes. He would jump over the ropes. But when he did it, it was special. If Undertaker was flying over the top rope and landing on a guy outside the ring, like, oh man, that's a big move. You don't see that every day.
Yeah.
Now you turn on Monday Night Raw, and every single guy in every single match is doing a freaking flip over the top rope onto the outside of the ring and landing on someone. And it's like,
yeah, but wouldn't that just be the natural evolution of things? Because like if it was the same way it was from the '80s, it would be mad boring. I remember seeing some '80s matches and they were pretty boring up until they did what you're saying, the special move. But up until that moment, it was like boring as fuck. So like
check out. There was a match recently, NXT UK, between a guy named Walter, which he's German. That's his last name. He's like something Walter, but everybody just calls him Walter. And he wrestled another guy who's like, I think he's Russian, whose name is like Ilya something. And those two guys had a classic old school match with none of those freaking flips and tricks and shit like that looked amazing and was much better storytelling than a lot of the shit that you see on Monday Night Raw. It's there's still a place for old school wrestling.
Oh no, I'm not arguing that, but I think that it's just the natural progression of things. Like I think that more people, when you're a kid, you see these people flipping. Oh, that's super cool. And then you become that wrestler. You're going to want to do those super cool things. And you're going to be doing them all the time because you learned how to do it. You know what I mean? The guy who created it did it because it was a special move. But as a kid, that's what you want to see all the fucking time. So you're probably always doing that shit.
Yeah.
I remember
but that's the thing, right? But it used to be there used to be guys in the locker room that if somebody did that on a show or somebody did that out in front of a crowd, will pull you aside and be like, dude, you save that for a special occasion. You don't do that in every match because then it loses all of its specialness. But anyways, we've been on for almost 2 hours now.
Yeah. I just think it's the natural progression of things. It's just how it's going to be.
I'm gonna skip this week's episode of Show Us Your Deck.
I mean, we are almost 2 hours in.
Yeah. Or should we do a quick one? Just the two of us.
Go ahead, knock it out.
I won't even load up the other camera. We'll just use my webcam.
I don't really give a shit. Let's do it.
All right, let's reach into the grab bag here and let's see what we can pull out. There we go. This feels like a nice light one. Got gargoyles.
Shit. The shit you have cards of is fucking astonishing.
Well, the cool thing about this Etsy shop I ordered some of these cards from is the guy has thrown in some extra stuff that I didn't order. So let's see. We got Brooklyn.
That guy was like the spider monkey. I remember that shit.
And there's Goliath.
These are just cells from the show. It looks like.
Pretty much. There's
Bronx.
I think that was Broadway. Is
that Broadway?
Yeah.
No, Bronx is the red one, right?
I think so. I'm not sure. I know Hudson was the old one. We got I think was it Damona? That's on the back of the card. She was the love interest, right?
She was the girl character. That's all I remember.
But she wasn't with them. Wasn't it that she was living separately from them or whatever?
I don't know.
And then there's Hudson.
Dude, I just realized this right now. This was like the answer to Ninja Turtles, where the Ninja Turtles were Renaissance characters.
Goliath had a name because he was their leader, but then none of the other gargoyles had names, and so the reporter girl names them after parts of New York.
Yeah,
Brooklyn, yeah. Bronx was, I think, the red one with the white hair.
With the hair, yeah.
But there you go. A quick little edition of Show Us Your Deck. We didn't get special with it. We didn't pull out the other camera.
Well, we did it. And we did it good. We had a good episode today. We talked about Mando. We talked about motherfucking the motherfucking Rebels. That shit was nice. Shit. I'm excited.
What do you got? You planning on watching anything over the Thanksgiving break?
I want to finish fucking final season of Clone Wars because Filoni can't go wrong.
It's a pretty quick watch. There's not that many episodes. I think it was only like 8 episodes or something like that.
We'll see. I don't think they'll be the Netflix ending because that shit was perfect.
And if you want to talk about Ninja Turtles, that first arc is going to remind you a lot of Ninja Turtles.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
the squadron that they bring in, the imperfect clones.
Oh, I saw the first episode. Yeah, I actually never connected that, but yeah, you have Donnie with the fucking tech guy. You have Raph as the big dude. Yeah. You have the sniper, but I guess 2 characters are the same.
Well, I think their leader is the Leonardo character, the guy that looks like Rambo.
Who could smell? He has that power, or he could sniff people out and shit.
Yeah. Obviously, the tech guy is Donnie. The big guy is like one part of Raph, but he's also kind of fun.
Yeah. Well, he's a bit Mikey. He's stupid and childish. Yeah.
The sniper guy is a little bit more serious.
Yeah, he's
really good at his job. So he might be the Raph of the group.
Yeah. No, I didn't catch that, but yeah, you're right. It is very Ninja Turtles like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've only seen one episode so far.
And then it's a pretty decent arc. That arc was kind of there to kind of give you some closure to like the clones. The next arc after that kind of is like to show you like where Ahsoka is, and then the final of it is to kind of wrap up the story of the Clone Wars. And that last episode takes place at the same time as Revenge of the Sith.
Oh, so you just ruined it for me. It's gonna we're gonna see 66.
I just told you it happened, and that I think we talked about it back when it aired. So that shouldn't be a spoiler for you.
Well, I didn't know that, but now, whatever, it still hypes me up. Anything that ties shit nicely, I fucking eat that shit. I gobble that shit.
It's really good. That last, especially the storyline with Rex. So
Rex. Yeah. All right. Well, that was our episode.
Yeah. Look at that. Without Gus, we went even longer than we usually do. Gus wasn't here to rein us in and wrap us up.
He's like, come on.
Anyways, yeah. So I'm probably gonna see if I watch some holiday movies over the weekend. And I just got Ready Player 2. So
you got what?
I'll probably knock that out tonight.
You got what?
Ready Player 2.
What is that?
The sequel to Ready Player 1.
That's a book?
It's a book, yeah.
Oh shit!
You didn't know Ready Player 1 was a book before it was a movie?
No, obviously I did, but I didn't know they made a book.
Ready Player 2 was released yesterday. I went to Barnes and Noble. I picked it up because I want to read it over this weekend. And if I order it on Amazon, it's not. I don't want to wait till 2 to 3 days for it to arrive. I want it now. So I went and I picked it up at Barnes and Noble, and I'm probably gonna knock that out tonight.
Tonight, you could read a whole fucking book in one day. I'm a slow ass reader then, because I cannot knock out a book in a night.
Normally I could. I don't know. It's been a while since I've read a book, so who knows?
I usually take 2 weeks to finish a book.
No, when I get into the story, if it's a story that I'm interested in, I don't stop reading.
You'll just kill it. Yeah. When I'm just reading, droning it out, I'll read a chapter a night before I go to bed. But if I really like it,
I'm the guy who's I'm invested. I don't care that I'm at the end of the chapter. I'm going to the next chapter.
Nice.
And the next thing you know, I've read 300 pages, and it's 4 a.m. So
that's when you know it's a good book.
Yeah.
Anyways, what I'm probably gonna do is just some Black Friday home shopping because I ain't going nowhere with this Rona.
I've been Black Friday shopping.
Really?
Yeah.
The only thing I bought was some T-shirts from Hot Topic and some video games. I've
ordered quite a few items off the Roosevelt's website.
Nice.
They're Black Friday deals right now, bro. They got shirts as low as $26.
Nice.
So if you've seen any of like the shirts that I wear and you like them, now's the time to buy. And you're a smaller size than I am, so you might actually find more stuff than I can. So
yeah, that's all I've been doing. So like, I'm not leaving to go shopping because I usually go buy my clothes that I usually buy for like the year on Black Friday. But today I passed by Dolphin Mall to like I had to buy a pair of shorts because the shorts I got a little fat during this.
Well, I'm gonna stop you right there. We'll continue this conversation after, but I want to end this show right now at 2 hours.
Dude.
So later, sis heads.